Love 15.
I think the biggest question of the 2024 season was the return game of Ben Shelton. We know how great his serve is. It's certainly an area where, as far as return points won were concerned, he was quite low down there on the list. It's going to be so important for him this evening.
Love that in.
Both with some exceptional numbers behind their serve, but Sinner in a little bit of trouble here early doors. So many of these great players speak about the nerves in the opening couple of games of any match they play. That's when they're the most susceptible. What do you make of the Sinner serve? The way it looks, the changes he's made from the platform to the step up.
Yeah, the step up I'm unsure of. I never had it myself, so I don't know how. Some players are not suited to it, others are, and a lot of coaches like it more. But there's been some great players that haven't stepped up like this. But the end result is that he gets into a great hitting motion.
Yep.
And it's consistent. It's accurate, it's big, and it's consistent. So I have no complaints with it at all. It's probably a serve that doesn't quite have the flair that Shelton's does, but his is one of the better serves going around now, Ben Shelton, and Jannik's is too. But the left-handed, the addition of the left-handed angle really makes Shelton's probably a bit more awkward. Early opportunity here though for him.
To break points.
So I think just the nature of Ben's game, Robbie, is different. It's different to Sinner. Sinner will give very few of those easy points away. He's a little more up and down, Ben, isn't he, from the back of the court? He's got so much flair, and he'll hit a lot of winners, but that was a poor giveaway, that one.
Ben with the early break. Sinner, of course, was last broken in the 8th game of the 2nd set against Holger Rune in the 4th round. So it just shows you how difficult it is to get the better of the Italian, and it took something special.
It wasn't a good start by Sinner, though. He barely made a first serve, it seemed. And he was a little tentative in the first game. So you got to hand it to Ben, though. He came up with a colossal forehand to break. Took his opportunity when it was there early.
If you have a look at the win predictor here, very much in Sinner's favour. Of course, he leads the head-to-head 4-1.
Ben Shelton to
He's
serve.
won the last 4 meetings. Shelton won the very first one in Shanghai on the quick courts there. Just to
15
give you
love.
an idea of how well he's been playing the big points on return this week. The season average last year for break points converted was 37%. I can tell you in the tournament so far, it's up to 44%. That's a huge uptick. When a percentage point here or there can make a big difference. We know he's going to serve well.
15
It's
all.
almost a given, Fitzy.
That second serve was a beauty, into the body.
We're seeing that American flag there, Fitzy.
Yeah, absolutely. He got a forehand there, though, that he should have put away. That's where he's a little bit erratic at times, Ben.
Yep. Well, speaking of Americans, delighted to have another great server.
15-13.
Our co-commentator Ryan Harrison sitting courtside. First of all, a warm welcome, and give us an idea of how things are down there. And of course, from an American perspective, huge match this evening, Ryan.
Yeah, great to be with you guys. Yeah, listen, courtside, it is great serving
13.
conditions. That will help Ben Shelton. There's not too much wind. The slight breeze is downwind from where Shelton is serving right now. We've got the lights on. It's still a bit sunny, so it's not too dark overhead, but really good conditions so far.
Ryan,
14. You know his game well, and to me it seems that if he misses a lot of first serves, though, Shelton, he'll be put under pressure because Sinner won't have a problem getting most of his second serves back with some depth, and then they have to trade some ground strokes, and you've got to back the Italian surely when they're both back.
Well, that's exactly right, Fitzy. If he's getting a lot of free points on serve, he's dangerous, and that's the whole game behind Ben Shelton. He wants to apply pressure on your game while how quickly and swiftly he holds serve.
Advantage Shelton.
Just early on, you're seeing Sinner just a little bit unsettled, a little bit erratic. He is not usually making these ground stroke errors, so just still trying to settle in, and Ben's doing well to capitalize on this early opportunity.
Got a quick glimpse there of Ben's uncle, Rick Whitskin. He's come from a tennis family. We know his dad was a fantastic player, Brian, but Lisa, of course, his mum, a Whitskin. Of course, we remember Todd, who so sadly passed away, and he carries his uncle's name as his middle name, which I think is awesome.
It's certainly a heavyweight gene pool of tennis talent, isn't it, from both sides of the family.
Ben Shelton.
There's Brian on the right there. That's Ben's dad. And of course, I played against Todd Whitskin way back. He was a little younger than me, but he was one heck of a player.
Yeah, we miss him. His brother Rick. Can't miss him on the right there. Yeah, the Loomis, a real character. We'll lose forehands. I'd like to see the back end of this game sooner rather than later. Of course, his dad had a stellar coaching career. Let's not forget that. Initially at Georgia Tech, where Brian won the NCAA championships with the women's team there, before winning it with the Florida Gators, the men's team, of which Ben was part of that winning team.
I think the left-handed angles so far in this match have thrown Sinner.
Advantage.
He's
Shelton.
gone to the forehand and given Ben Shelton a running forehand on a couple of occasions, and it's been a mistake. So against a right-hander, that's the natural angle he would go with here. Maybe better to go push that one back down the line deep and make Ben hit the two-hander. That's dangerous if you let him run at that forehand.
Shelton.
I think that reaction tells us a lot. The importance of just cementing that early break.
Shelton leads 2 games to love.
Yeah, Fitzy, one other thing. I think that the Ben Shelton foot speed is a bit underappreciated. Court level here, when you're watching his first step and the way that he recovers back into the court when it appears that there's open space, that gap closes really quickly.
He's certainly a good athlete, isn't he? I mean, it's obvious. Big, tall young man and quick as well. Yeah, so if he's going to go to that forehand, though, Robbie, he really has to go hard, I think, and get the ball away from Shelton. If he gives him one that he can reach and run at, gee.
Yeah, you
that's
want
flirting with danger.
Yeah, you want him to pass you off your backhand there, his weaker side, as you suggested on that low pickup.
Big difference when he gets that first serve into play. He really gave Shelton an opportunity in the opening game and probably a little nervy opening game where he allowed him to get involved in the rallies a bit too much.
This one is his very first major, 12 months ago right here. Bookended a season by winning the US Open to go with the Australian Open.
Cain, Sinner.
That's a much better hold. Sinner's on the board, but he's down a break
Shelton
early.
leads 2 games
It's
to 1
to the American. Well, we know Ben Shelton's got one of the biggest serves in the game, but we always like to dig a little deeper to find out why the Shelton serve might be a little bit better. First of all, we can see he gets great leg drive. The ground reaction force is phenomenal. And look at the serve speed, 232 kilometers an hour. That is ferociously swift. But why is that the case? Well, I think it's so important you're having a look at the biomechanics of a serve and the leg drive that is measured in meters per second. The average here at the AO is 1.84. And you can see a big step up for Shelton. He's almost 16% more leg drive than everybody else in the field. And that's why his average serve speed is quicker. And his top end is almost untouchable. He's already been broken once today, and if you have a look back at how well Sinner has been serving, he has only been broken a maximum of 1 time in every match that he's played. That's how effective he has been behind his serve, and he's going to have to protect it going forward now. Can't let Shelton have the luxury of a double break. Shelton serving at 2-1.
Love 15.
It's a little bit of an enigma, isn't he, his forehand? Because if you let him run at it, it scares you, because he can hit a winner from anywhere. But then he throws in some mishits, a lot of free points from that wing.
15 all.
But it's because his serve is so good, Robbie, and he's hard to break, the forehand becomes more, I think it becomes more dangerous and more scary. Because if you lose your serve at any stage, it's hard to break back. That's where Sinner finds himself.
And I think, Ryan, we've definitely seen the evolution of the Shelton serve. I remember when he first came on the scene, it was just Kenny Power's fastball every single time.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because at this level, someone like Sinner, if it's just only the fastball, especially over 5 sets, he'll get used to the speed. So the variety has gotten way better for Ben.
Oh. Third all.
And the thing that's most impressive when he uses the variety is even when the speed goes down, he keeps the acceleration through the ball very quickly, and so that ball jumps off the court in whatever direction he's spinning it.
Logic says, though, if he gets involved in too many rallies from the back of the court, it's hard to see how he will win more than 50% of those points, Ryan. I can't see it. Maybe you might disagree, mate. I'm keen to know if you do, but even in the early stages here, when Sinner gets the ball back deep and gets involved in the point, it seems like the pendulum turns in his favour.
Let's.
Gee, that serve would not have come back from so many of the players on field. What a return that was.
2 games all.
Yeah, Fitzy, what a return there from Sinner. And that's the challenge of playing someone like Sinner, where it doesn't come back against 99% of the tour. But with Sinner, you have to hit that one extra ball. And I think you hit the nail on the head there with Shelton not wanting to get into too many extended rallies. Early on, you see him going to the slice backhand after the first or second one. I think he wants to keep that spin variety to try and prevent the rallies being extended.
I think the bad news, it's not big bad news, but I think the bad news for Brian Shelton right now is that Sinner has not played his best tennis yet, and he's found himself back in this first set, so he'll be feeling quite buoyed at this moment.
For Ben, Brian would like to be playing.
Did I say Brian? Apologies.
It's all right.
Well, I know Brian.
I know.
So well. It's difficult.
too.
You know,
I've said
played
it a
against him, admired his game.
I feel you.
I offered to pay a lot of money for his serve.
Oh, you're not the only one. I was just having a look at the baseline points won for both players. Apart from the first match that Shelton played,
30-15.
baseline points won, he is in the 40% all the way through, 43, 41, 40. And against Lorenzo Sonigo, he won 42% of the baseline rally. Sinner, in contrast, is in the mid-50s. So again, it's a big differential.
You know, if I hadn't have just looked at the stats,
40-15.
I would not have guessed that Sinner's already got 62% of his first serves in. To me, it feels like it's about 40. That's surprised me. So I feel like he hasn't served great yet, Sinner, and he's capable of it.
Second serve. Second service.
There's no let machines. So the chair umpire has to call the lets, as John did there.
Ryan, did both players there question that let call by John Blom?
They both had a little bit of a eye raise, look up and see if it was definitely a let, and both conceded that it was.
Okay.
A little unusual that they're not using the net devices this year.
Yeah.
I think it was last year as well, Ryan, at the majors only. Well, for the first time in this match, Sinner will sit down, feeling a little bit more comfortable. He leads 3-2.
3 games to 2.
I didn't read, gentlemen, that the company that makes the machines that detect the let has actually gone bankrupt, and they're not producing them anymore. And I read that reports, and in fact it came from I think it was Lindsay Davenport was suggesting that for one of the American broadcasters. It's an unusual one.
Yeah, that's good information, because I was just going to ask if that was due to some misfiring of the net devices, or if there was another manufacturing reason for that, because I think we all can agree that those net devices were welcome in some of the situations where it's hard to tell one way or the other.
Time.
Melbourne and all her magnificence as we start to enjoy finals weekend here. The women's final is set. There's already an American in there. Madison Keys flying the flag high for the USA. Ben Shelton would love to join her. And the men's Sunday showcase final. But he's got to navigate this guy. Someone who has been there and done it. 2 majors played in 2024 in the finals. 2 he converted.
15 all.
There was a bit of Ryan Harrison behind that volley. Seen that before, Ryan.
That was a strong compliment. I think if I had that volley in the tank, I might be playing a few more years.
Yeah, he's certainly going to have some quick games on this serve, isn't he? It's just a natural phenomenon, really. Well, not a phenomenon, actually. It's just a natural way of being. When you have a serve this good, there'll be some quick games.
Go back. Ball boy, please. Thanks.
Starting to open his shoulders a bit, isn't he? This is different to the first game or two from the back of the court.
40-13.
He manhandled that second serve with his forehand too, by the way. So to me, it's not an easy ball to return so easily with that left-handed kick coming at you. But Sinner seems to be having no trouble at all with the second one.
Starting to feel the full force of the world #1.
Guys, just watching this first serve percentage, this ball toss is getting really low for Ben Shelton.
Is that a natural occurrence for him, Ryan? I mean, if he gets a bit tight, does the ball toss get lower normally?
Yeah, I think the tendency for big servers is when you want to try and get that free point, you want to hit the ball as quickly as you can, and you don't let it get all the way up.
Is cut from a different cloth, is the world #1. Defended well initially, and right there changes the whole dynamic of the rally with one rip of the forehand.
To me, Robbie, he's starting to get used to playing the left-hander. You know, right-handers don't play left-handers anywhere near as much as left-handers play right-handers in this sport of ours. And the angle can confuse you for a while, but it looks like he's starting to feel a bit more comfortable, Sinner, from the back of the court.
I can tell you, Fitzy, since the start of the 2023 season,
Advantage, Sinner.
Sinner's won 11 of the 12 matches that he's played against lefties. The only guy to beat him,
I wonder who.
is the man that he's facing today. But so far, so good. Because that's when Shelton beat him in Shanghai, the very first time they played during the 2023 season. Sinner with that. Another chance to break.
Let's was.
It's a magnificent first delivery, isn't it?
Deuce.
Well, guys, Sinner did have the luxury of not having to play against one particular left-hander.
Sinner's got plenty of field as well.
Advantage,
Don't you worry
Sinner.
about that. Love the creativity here from Jannik. And the balance and the slide was gorgeous. The chance for Sinner. But what a point from Shelton. Using the full dimensions of the tennis court.
Well, I've got to admit, I thought Sinner played almost a perfect point. I thought he was going to win this halfway through. And this was flirting very close. Outside edge, maybe, of that line. He gets away with it, Shelton. But what a point from both players.
It's not often you can bring the world #1 to his knees, but Shelton certainly did that.
Advantage, Shelton.
An annoyed look of Sinner to the far end of the court. Doesn't think he should be missing that backhand. It's one of the longest service games that Shelton has experienced in the tournament.
Shelton.
That's a hard hat hold. Dad's happy.
3 games all.
Speaking of Americans, talking about defying the odds today, Sinner is on a 17-match win streak against players from the USA. So not only is he enjoying playing against lefties, but Americans as well.
Well, I think every nationality would have been suffering a little bit at his hands over the last couple of years, particularly in 2024.
Yep.
Ben Shelton's having to work hard, though. He's had 3 service games. They've all been difficult. Holding up well.
Fifteen love.
Of course, Jannik Sinner, before the match against Holger Rune in the 4th round, woke up feeling very unwell. Bit of stomach problems, and the match against the Dane was a battle royale. Warm conditions, he was struggling big time. Somehow
15 all.
managed to go to the depths of what he had to find the win. He bounced back superbly against Alex de Minaur in his previous match in the quarterfinals. We'll be keeping an eye on how he is handling the physical battle today. Shelton's making him work hard.
I think this is a prime example of matchups in tennis. You know, if you compare
15.
Alex de Minaur to Ben Shelton here, for Jannik Sinner, they are totally different propositions. De Minaur plays from the back of the quarter line, and Sinner really had Alex covered, as he does most players, as he's a right-hander and he hits the ball in his slot a little bit. But Shelton is a completely different proposition. The lefty, the big serve, the flashy forehand creates different problems for him.
Forty, 15.
Well, Fitzy, you're exactly right. And earlier today, I was able to have a short conversation with the coach of Jannik Sinner, Darren Cahill, and I said, well done the other night, and he made it a point to say that he knew that this was a much different matchup. So to your point, the Sinner team very well aware of that.
Yeah, no matter what way you look at it, Ryan, you know, Ben Shelton's going to win a lot of matches in his career. Not just because he's an extremely good player, but because of what he brings to the table in terms of being so different. The left-handedness of him can confuse a lot of right-handers.
Yeah, well done on that first serve percentages, Sinner, today.
And that can be because it's a different angle here. He's serving to a left-hander. Just throws your rhythm a bit at times.
Cain, Sinner.
At the very best, they find a way, even if he's not on top of his serving game just yet.
Sinner leads 4 games to
4-3.
3.
Now there's a guy that can drive. Robbie.
I think that is Oscar Piastri.
He is. He's from Brighton in Melbourne. One of the best drivers in the world right now, the youngster. Managed by Mark Webber, by the way.
Sporting royalty in the house.
Yeah.
Time.
Australia's F1 driver at this moment. There's been a couple of them of late.
Oscar Piastri. He's got a pretty good seat. He must know some people, Fitzy.
There he is. The great Mark Webber. I wonder if he knew he was on the screen. Give us a wave, Mark, next time.
$15 love.
Of course, I know George Russell from the UK loves his tennis. Often see him at Wimbledon, Queens.
Do you think they'd be impressed by tennis players' reactions, their reflexes,
Yeah,
or would they just think, "Oh, that's nothing"?
We need a contest of some sort with the lights. Tennis players versus F1 drivers.
15 all.
I think you
Mark
need to
Webber,
tee that
a
up.
few years ago, with his charity here in Melbourne, had the F1 drivers in about March, when the F1 is here in Melbourne, and have a tennis pro-am over at Albert Park, close to the track,
Okay.
where a lot of the practice courts are for the Australian Open. There was a few that could play a bit.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple that should stick to driving.
Okay. What about Denny Ricardo? I was a big fan of his.
Of course.
He was a real character.
Well, Fitzy, a lot safer for the F1 drivers to play tennis than tennis drivers to go drive F1.
Yeah, I think I'd trust them more with a racket in their hand, Ryan.
It's better than most, that.
Oh, that's a heck of a volley. I thought he'd given Sinner too good an opportunity there to pass with his forehand. He hit it straight into the forehand wing here. I thought he'd be in trouble at the net, but he reads it well and executes it beautifully. These new balls here would be helping the serve, no doubt.
He's been made to work
14,
extremely
13.
hard behind his serve, and of course Ryan alluded to the start of the match. It was going to be important for Ben to try and hold comfortably, build the pressure on Jannik. Shelton's already faced break points in his first 3 service games.
Game
Doesn't have to
Shelton.
worry about that this time round, but still only a 30 hold.
4 games all.
And I think that wide one to the second court for the left-hander there is helped by the new balls. That it accentuates the swing to a degree, and that was a perfect finish to the game.
So this is when things start to get interesting. 4-all. Getting closer to the sharp end of the set.
15 love.
What do you think? Not a bad play for Ben Shelton there to tee off on that backhand at times?
Yeah, I like it. I think Ben's a good disruptor. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I totally agree. The more he can try and play these points on his terms instead of these long back and forth rallies, it'll be to his favor.
Leads service games 1 in the tournament. Sinner, such an improved shot, came into this encounter, winning 96% of those. The service got pacier, it's got more accurate.
Well, two great serves here from Sinner, but I've got to say, his first serve percentage has taken a dive. It's down to around 40%. It's not enough.
Yep.
So he's needed a couple of good ones that he's produced in this game.
You can see when he gets that first serve in, he wins 80% of the points.
Cain, Sinner.
It's more like it. Starting to find his groove is the world #1.
Sinner leads 5 games to 4.
Fans are happy, and why not? Much to cheer for both of these tennis nations.
Time.
We've spoken about the fact that American tennis is really coming on in leaps and bounds, especially on the men's side of things now. The likes of Ben Shelton, Taylor Fritz, of course, competed in the finals of the US Open against Jannik Sinner. Francis Tiafoe back playing some good ball. Tommy Paul. Brandon Nakashima had a good 2024 season. Riley Apelka is back. He's always dangerous. Similarly, Italian tennis very much on the up and up. Jasmine Paolini lighting things up on the women's side last year. Was this guy flying the Il Tricolore for his nation beautifully.
For me, he continues to be an enigma, and he probably always will be, Ben, because he at times he rallies beautifully, doesn't he? Doesn't look like missing the ball, and then all of a sudden he'll throw in 3 or 4 wild forehands that miss by a long way. Oh, second serve, bomb. That had some heat on it.
Bit of pyrotechnic tennis there.
40 love.
And it's still not the fastest one he's hit all tournament.
And went at the body.
What a delivery. Chin music.
Shelton.
Just what you want at the tail end of an important opening set. A love hold for the American.
5 games all.
And of course, when you look back historically at the head-to-head between these two, there's always been a tie break mixed in there. Sinner's won most of them. These are the fastest serves today so far. Both these guys can crank it. I'll tell you what, Ben's mixing things up beautifully.
Love 15.
Well, guys, one of the things you want to see whenever a guy like Ben Shelton's playing against the world #1 is, what does his attitude and demeanor look like? Does he look like he's just out there and seeing what the world #1 does, or is he taking it to him? And to me, it looks like he is fully embracing this opportunity.
Love 13.
This is a half chance here. That's what you're talking about right there, Fitzy.
15,
Yeah, but, I mean, if
13.
you're in the Sinner camp, your heart's in your mouth when he gets a forehand in that part of the court, because first thing he's going to do is hit it hard. and if he hits it into the position he wants, it's either going to be a winner or almost an unreturnable. So it's a dangerous shot.
Yep.
But yes, he then dumps it in the net at times.
11th unforced error of that particular side.
Oh.
Not sure Shelton was meant to hit the ball that high. I think it had a bit of hack spin on it from the miss hit, but it's worked out well. Broke Jannik in his opening service game of this match. What a time if he could break now. He's got 2 chances. And super tennis from Shelton. And he gets a valuable break in the 11th game. And he will serve for the opening set. The simplicity of that point, Fitzy, after making the return. No fancy approach, not trying to go for the outright winner there.
No, but he had Sinner so deep in the court, didn't he? I mean, he played a great game there in a typical Ben Shelton type game where he's dangerous. He made an error at 15:40, didn't he? Or earlier in the game. But then the love 30 point, he hit the point. But this is dangerous because look how deep Sinner is.
Yep. But my point is he hasn't gone for a winner there. He knows just with the hook cross court,
yeah,
he's looking for a 2-shot combination. I like that. He's patient, trusting his net game.
And this is a mentality that occurs because you're playing against a player with such a dangerous serve. You know, you can't make any or too many errors on your own serve or you get into trouble.
Time.
majors, the Americans have struggled against Sinner. They're 0-14, but I tell you what, Shelton is making some good headway here. He's broken Sinner for the second time now. And would love to close out the opening set with a couple of meaningful first serves. Win that first point on serve. The chances of holding go to about 89%. And if you've got a serve as good as Shelton's, 89 is the average, you're looking at about 91% for someone who's as good as Ben. A lot of defending in that rally. Good peripheral vision from Sinner. Too easy. On it in a flash.
15-13.
So difficult to defend against a down-the-line passing shot. It's the most direct way past an opponent.
Oh, huge miss. Huge miss. Goodness me. That might cost him the first set.
And I tell you what, if you can read a little bit of Italian, he was not happy with that miss. Contact there wasn't thin enough. You've got to brush up the back of the ball so finely.
Well, Sinner's got to be ready for that. It's been a good play a couple of times. Shelton's hit the second serve. One flat like a first serve, and then that one straight at the body.
What an impressive set of tennis this has been from Shelton. He's arrived at set point. Well, Sinner's given him the full run around in that rally. That'll test the lungs. greatest in the art of deception.
And advantage, Shelton.
Got what he wanted there. Absolute beauty.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I mean, it's part of his repertoire, isn't it, the drop shot? But I'm not sure against Shelton it's necessarily the play. It brings Ben into the net where he's quite comfortable. If he doesn't hit that drop shot perfectly, he can either rip a forehand, and he played it to the forehand wing, by the way. Still hard to hold serve against, though, isn't he?
Advantage, Sinner.
Shelton faced break points in his first 3 service games. He was under all kind of duress. It's more of the same now. What a bonus.
Yes.
What a miss.
You know, I can't help thinking, and sometimes it's just psychological, but against a left-hander, you tend to struggle with the angles a little bit, and I think that causes some inconsistency. We've seen Sinner in this first set miss balls that he rarely misses. I just wonder if that's the matchup.
Advantage,
Clever.
Sinner.
I mean, I don't mind the 7 volley at all from Ben. In fact, I love it, but Sinner was clever enough just to block the ball low and ask the question.
Another break point.
Cain, Sinner.
Well, the cunning fox finds a solution.
6 games all tie break.
Fighting off 2 set points on the Shelton serve. And once again, these two will contest a tie break. Fitzy, in their previous 5 meetings, there's always been a tie break involved.
Well, Shelton has to put that disappointment quickly behind him, and it is a big disappointment.
Settle down, please. Thank you.
Forehand might be his undoing. When this opening set is said and done, Fitzy, it's just hemorrhaging unforced errors now.
Yeah, but you live and die by the sword, don't you? I mean, it's his dangerous weapon too in the middle of these rallies. But if it deserts him for just a few minutes, it can cause havoc.
Both players with good success this year at the AO.
Oh,
Comes to tiebreakers.
Gee, that's a bad miss there.
And guys, it's really interesting. These forehands that he's missing are the ones that he has a lot of time on. The one where he has to run and react and just hit an amazing passing shot, he's fine.
16 of those bad boys now.
Well, what a turnaround this is.
Sinner.
When he had set point there serving for it, you wouldn't have picked this.
Zero. Sinner.
He's won the last 6 points in a row now, has Sinner. Momentum firmly with the world number one. Ben just bounced his racket. Not happy at all. Perhaps still thinking about those 2 set points on serve that he had.
Well, he's gone to pieces here, really.
Sinner.
I mean, he's played so well with such variety, such danger he's caused his opponent, and all of a sudden, the form has just slumped. He's still in it, Ryan, but do you think he was just playing on the edge? Maybe a bit too much in his first, like, it's the way he probably has to play against the world number one, but all of a sudden it sort of exploded in his face here.
Yeah, I think for the majority of the first set, he was doing a good job of mixing up those opportune times. We saw his net percentage of points won was really, really good early on. He was using the slice backhand and also using a variety of spins, getting the ball heavy up with the forehand. And it seems like since he lost that set point opportunity, the second one, he's just gone full on haymakers each time.
Sinner.
Well, it's tough to judge these world-class players sometimes, or easy to judge them really, sitting in a box up above the court. But sometimes I wonder about Ben's shot selection. If there's a question mark for me, he's such a good ball striker and a dangerous player, but he does give away a few points with the wrong choice sometimes, I believe, but it hasn't been that in this tiebreaker. It's more that he's just...
It's basic stuff that he's missed, really basic.
He's just blown his forehand here.
Yep.
Imagine when he puts it all together.
Sinner.
I mean, this first set for Sinner now is like absolute gold. I bet he feels like he hasn't played at his best, and he has stolen this first set if he closes it out.
Sinner saves 2 set points and wins 9 of the last 11 points to steal the opening set from Shelton. He wins at 7-6 in the tiebreak. Even further now, playing from a set behind. Set number 2.
15 love. 15-all.
Sort of strange for me watching Ben here. And he was pushing the envelope a little bit with some of his forehands in the first set, but they look so safe compared to the last 10 minutes. He just doesn't look safe anymore.
(30-15).
Maybe subconsciously he was pushing the envelope a little bit, you know, redlining. That's a better one. Didn't overplay that.
40-15.
Didn't take too much risk to achieve that reward. And there's his dad ironically laughing, I would think, or smiling, thinking, where was that the last 10 minutes?
Ben was doing the same.
Great retrieving.
40-30.
All the great players defend well, don't they?
Yep.
Kept the ball alive and caused this.
Yeah, that forehand is just not calibrated well enough today.
Well, Sinner showing us why he's number one.
Yes.
Scrambling that serve back deep. And he knows that if he gets into the rally, he's favourite.
You're well below 50% now on baseline points won for Shelton, to your point, Fitzy.
Advantage, Shelton.
20 out of 58 for the American. That's a lowly 34% of the baseline points won.
Well, I was about to say then, Robbie, that he desperately, at this moment, or in these moments, early in the second set, has to serve well and get some free points on his first serve, because at the moment he is not winning when he gets involved in a rally, usually after a second serve. So, and then Sinner also returns a great first serve back as well.
Advantage.
So
Sinner.
impressive defending, Sinner. And Shelton running out of places to go with that forehand.
Break point. Ruthlessly efficient.
Sinner. First game,
Neutralizing the
second
Shelton
set.
serve and then sending the American from coast to coast at will.
Well, Robbie, I feel blessed sometimes to sit in this box and comment on a game that I love, but it's hard to comprehend for us mere mortals how good Sinner can be. That game was such a high level, under pressure, just creating unbelievable pressure back on Ben Shelton here and maintaining that level. Wow, that was good.
He's just so good, as Ryan was suggesting, just putting meaningful returns back in play. And you can see for the Yayo, Shelton's first serves unreturned. 39%. Today it's down to 28. That's a 11% dip off against Sinner. That's how good Jannik has been at getting the serve back in play.
Well,
15 love.
I mean, he hasn't turned this match on its head yet. But there's been a huge momentum shift, hasn't it? Just from 10 or 15 minutes ago, Sinner has been almost faultless. Come on, he missed one.
Well, guys, one part of tennis that's not talked about enough is making your opponent play poorly. And I thought that early on, Shelton was doing a good job of keeping Sinner on his toes, variety of spins, shortening points, getting in the net. He's going to need to do a bit more of that.
I guess, Ryan, it's hard not to think that that was the opportunity that Shelton needed to capitalize, get the opening set. I do feel that Fitzy was suggesting that Sinner could only play better from here on in. Yeah, that's seared the line.
And we're starting to see his true form. I can't help thinking it was the left-handed approach from this young man that really threw Sinner in that first set. He wasn't quite himself. And to Shelton's credit, by the way, he was so good until he got to the stage where he had set point on his own serve.
Second serve. Out. 40-30.
I suppose if we want to look at both sides of the court, Shelton will also say to us, well, gentlemen, I couldn't make my forehand any worse than what I did in the opening set.
Yep.
That too is only going to get better.
Well, it did there.
Advantage Shelton.
Oh, well.
Yeah. A hiccup.
Against 99 out of the top 100. That would have been good enough. But the #1 player in the world makes you hit the ball just a little closer to the line.
Well, if you're going to win these matches, you need to make those balls. Break point, a golden opportunity missed.
Advantage Sinner.
Sinner's turn.
Well, he just seemed a tiny bit fatigued at the end of this long rally, Jannik.
Deuce.
I think under normal circumstances would have been there a little quicker, Robbie, but yeah, one that you would expect him to make in the end. Give Shelton some credit there.
It's proper ground stroking from both. Such good quality. Neither player able to apply the finishing touches at the moment.
Advantage Sinner. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't do as that fellow did and don't call out during the serve. Thank you.
Well done, John Blanc. There's been too much of that, I think, this year.
Game, Sinner.
Crucial game, wasn't it?
Wasn't it just, Fitzy?
Sinner leads 2 games to love.
I always harp on about how the very best in any sport just find a way. When they're not playing their best tennis, when they go through a game like that, if you're Jannik Sinner, just to get the hold, to save the 2 set points in the opening set, just an extra ball in the court. Their base level of play is, it's always just high enough
Let's first.
Well, Ben Shelton still has this great trick up his sleeve, if you will. The fact that he's dangerous every single point, and he is always hard to break.
La.
Well, Fitzy, I think the most important thing is that he has the belief. And so even though he's down a set and a break, he still shows that signs of fight.
And he is going to need it. Just to give you an example of how important that first set is. Last year on hard court when he won the opening set, he went on to win 86% of the matches.
Oh, hello.
30-15.
Keep the change out of that.
Yep. And of course, when he loses the opening set on a hard court last year, he only wins 30% of those matches. So he's going to have to defy the odds in a big way today.
See, what a return. I mean, the first serve was excellent. He's got great anticipation. It's not just foot speed and getting into position and then the hand-eye coordination. It's the anticipation also to read where this serve is going. Not easy. As soon as Jannik went down the line with that wide forehand, he was in trouble, wasn't he? Just opened the court up for the natural left-handed hook forehand from Shelton.
Yes.
Well, that can cause you some problems if you just have a mental lapse there, Ben. Obviously thought it was going long, but just wasn't disciplined enough there to make sure. That bit of lack of discipline might go a long way to hurting his chances.
Another chance for Sinner to break in this set.
Cain, Sinner.
Stunning return. Sinner's got the double break, and he is very much in charge of proceedings now in the second of the men's singles semi-finals. It's 3-0. The length that he was able to get on that return was exquisite.
time.
Well, Melbourne Park in all her glory as we walk into finals weekend here of the AO 2025. Jannik Sinner, of course, the defending champion, and he was very difficult to beat last year. I tell you, he went undefeated against players outside the top 20. In fact, not a single player straight setted him last year. He won at least one set in all of the 79 matches he played. Only Roger Federer in 2005 had managed that.
Love.
So well, he's been playing 8 titles, dominating on hard courts.
And Robbie, if you look back at 6-5 Shelton serving in that opening set, if you think about it, he's broken 3 times straight.
Yep.
And he's won the tiebreaker. And now he looks like he'll take a 4-love lead shortly. He's off and running. Gee, it happens quickly.
Seconds.
Ryan, am I being a little critical about that just lack of discipline there at Juice in the, not Juice, it was actually his ad, I think 40-30 in the previous game on his serve. I mean, I just hated to see that because I just felt like that opened the door for a great player, and the great players won't do that. They won't give you an easy one like that. I guess it's part of his flair, Ryan, but gee, that it worried me a bit.
Yeah, Fitzy, you're exactly right. When you're playing a player this caliber at the top of his game, you can't afford to give him an inch. If you just look at the clock, we're at 1 hour and 37 minutes, and in about 1 hour and 5 minutes, Ben Shelton looked to be in control, and that's how quickly things change whenever you play against someone as relentless as Sinner, so you really can't give them anything.
Love. Love.
It's probably also good to offer a bit of perspective as well when we realize how green Shelton is. He hasn't been playing for that long, has he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's important to remember.
Still so much upside. His first trip abroad ever outside of America to play competitive tennis was here back in January of 2023. I mean, it's unfathomable.
He's got so much to learn, hasn't he? What a talent.
He broke the top 100 by just playing in America, and he did it quickly as well.
40-30.
Well, guys, I think that the important thing for Shelton is if you're looking at his potential growth, he's already as good as he is with so much he can still improve.
Well said.
Yes.
Of course, we'll keep an eye on the return points won this season, Ryan. Shelton last year won just over 32% of his return points won at tour level. The average amongst the top 50 was 37. That has to improve. Made some big improvements this fortnight in that department. And I bring that up, folks, because it's such a major barometer of being a top 10 player. Those return points won have got to get up to about 35% for Shelton. The only outlier who has been below Shelton's numbers to get to the top 10 is John Isner. We know what kind of serve he's got. Very much the outlier.
Cain, Shelton.
Well, he's on the board in the second set,
Sinner
but only
leads
just.
by 4
Sinner's got a
games
double
to
break.
1.
Day today here at the Australian Open. Those guys are good. Been listening to them all week. Talented artists around.
Time.
It's a very, very colourful Rod Laver Arena on Pride Day here at the AO. And somebody who's been using his full palette of colours is Ben Shelton. Even though it hasn't always worked out for him, he's been using the slice intelligently. It's helped neutralise a lot of points, but just making too many unforced errors. Not capitalising on his chances. That's why he's down a set and a double break. And if you're joining us for the first time today, I can tell you that he had 2 set points on his own serve in the opening set. At 6-5, couldn't convert. Had a poor tie break. Now he finds himself in a world of hurt. Gets the best player on the planet. It's hard to believe it. Just a couple of days ago against Holger Rune, he was almost dead on his feet. The third game of the third set, poised at 1 set all, at 37 shot rally to save break point against Holger. Could be a major plot point in the outcome of this year's Australian Open.
30-15.
Well, guys, I think it's worth mentioning that a lot of these mistakes that Shelton is making is because the movement and the ability to go defense to offense from center is so strong that you feel like you have to be so perfect with that put away ball.
Point taken, Ryan. You're so right. He defends
aggressively.
Yeah, and with the best of them. He defends so well with so much balance, and he can convert a defensive situation into an offensive situation so quickly.
Let's first.
You do wonder how much being a good skier at a young age contributes to that balance and that sliding that both him and Novak have. Dynamic balance is so good. Of course, Novak enjoyed skiing as well when he was a youngster. Sinner was a top skier in Italy when he was a junior.
You any good in the slopes, Robbie? You better.
Below par, but I love it.
Cain.
Too good.
Sinner.
You're better with a
Five games to 1.
fishing rod in your hand, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd be seeded in that department if we had a major.
Oh, you're getting cocky now.
You were the one that was building me up.
I try not to go for any new activities that could leave my life in danger. So the ski slopes and anything like F1 driving, I stick away from. I'll stick to the golf.
Come on.
Yeah. This is no time for modesty, Ryan.
Fifteen love. $30.
He served and volleyed 3 times, guys. Is that too few for somebody who's got to serve like this?
Well, for me, I think if he's going to serve and volley this particular returner, who happens to have a number 1 next to his name, I'd be going at the body a fair bit.
Yep. Agreed.
Unless he can hit a cold ace. If you want to serve and volley, go to the body, try to jam him a little bit, and then you can maybe get a floating return rather than something that's drilled at your feet. I don't know about you guys, but when a left-hander served to me to the forehand and it had some work on it and it would kick away from you, I found it really difficult to time the ball on that first return. Sinner, it's like picking cherries. He's coming straight out of the middle of the racket virtually every time. Even that return.
30, 40.
And it has gone pear-shaped quickly, hasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that's so impressive is that Sinner, when he is fully stretched and fully lunged, he still finds a way to get that ball in the middle of the racket and get some depth on the return.
Set point, Sinner.
Advantage, Shelton. Cain, Shelton.
Oh, finally an ace for Shelton. Those have been few
Sinner
and far
leads
between.
5 games to 2.
Fifth for the match. Uncle Rick still harbours hope.
Really interesting here, guys. Ben Shelton just talking to chair umpire, and I believe he's asking for the physio on the next change of ends or the set break. I can see the chair umpire going to the phone right now. A couple points ago, looked like Shelton kind of reached down and was looking at either his right hip or his right quad, and it is possible that he's going to be getting a medical timeout or an evaluation for that on the next change of ends.
Yeah, good information. I think, for me, my first thought, Ryan, was that he was flexing his right knee, but maybe it was the hip. But the knee come into my mind, but there's something there.
Time.
Piece of art right there. This tennis in the second set's been a work of art. Serving for a 2 sets to love lead.
15 love.
I understood that, Ryan.
Yeah, we had a overhead fan that had a little, wanted to get a little lighter on his feet.
Well, we have some seagulls here at night quite often in this area, and they're attracted to the lights.
The tennis not too bad either.
Well, why wouldn't you be attracted to the tennis?
First tennis major of the year, of course. He's staying up late, way past his bedtime, but for Jannik, it's worth it.
40 love.
Serving masterclass in the second set from Jannik. 3 set points.
Cain and second set.
Well, embroidered
Sinner.
this set with his beautiful
Second to
brutality. He takes a
Sinner
2
leads
sets to
by
love lead.
2 sets
Sinner
to love.
versus Sinner.
Third set, Shelton to serve.
Let's see how this third set shakes out.
15
Good start.
love.
Almost 15 hours on court for the American. 12 and a half for the Italian coming into this match.
Oh, 15 all.
Well, guys, if he's going to make his way back in the match, he's going to have to use his transition game. He can't just continue to stay back there and try and blast winners because Sinner just defends too well.
30-15.
I can tell you once again, in order to defy the odds, if he were to get the win here, he's never come back from 2 sets to love down, has Shelton. Still a young career though.
Shelton.
That forehand was thrashed.
First game, 3rd set.
I guess, Ryan, if you could have a quick word with Ben on the change of ends here, what would your advice be to him going forward from here on in?
Well, first of all, you've got to look at what you were doing to start the match that was throwing Sinner so off balance, because I think we saw Sinner in the early stages. He was making way more mistakes than we're used to him seeing, and I thought that that variety of spin that he was using on his backhand slice was doing a good job of mixing that slice and then hitting the one that sat up. And I thought that he was doing a much better job with his depth of ball. I think that he's gotten a little short with some of his return locations. He's got to get a little better depth.
Love 15.
You need so much spin and control.
15.
And you need racket head to produce that. Racket head speed. This is magnificent modern forehand.
Fitzy, that's the variety I like to see right there, using that lefty forehand, getting the ball up, using the variety with the slice, and you just see Jannik have to change the direction in which his racket head is coming through the shot. He does so well absorbing power, so you've got to continue to mix up that speed and spin.
Anticipation exquisite again from Sinner.
30-all.
So much work to do on both occasions.
Well, he's not quite as polished, is he, as Sinner yet. Ben Shelton. He saw the funny side of that, but give him a couple of years, I would say. And of course, this match is not over, so let me not get on the front foot too soon, but he's just a bit loose with some of his shots yet. And when he learns to polish that up, boy, he's going to be dangerous.
I'd love to get an early break here at the start of the third, Fitzy.
That's the type of ball Jannik Sinner will not miss. Second serve, plenty of time. It's a tough school, tough gig out here.
There's just been too many basic errors off the record of Shelton in important moments.
Advantage, Sinner.
That's more like it. Sinner on that occasion unable to get himself out of trouble.
Yes.
I almost think that slightly more controlled approach just gave him a bit more time to get set at the net, Ryan.
Yeah, most definitely. And I don't think this Aussie crowd wants an early night.
Especially given that they had an early afternoon. Novak Djokovic retiring after a set against Sasha Zverev in the first semi-final.
Advantage, Sinner. Cain, Sinner.
He is just so rock solid. Uli loved it. Keller's out of his chair. Marco Panici just behind Darren in the same color top. Strength and conditioning trainer. Worked with Novak for many years. Was Simone Vagnozzi on the left. He was the one who took over when Sinner split up with Riccardo Piatti, who really did lay the foundation of the beautiful game that Sinner possesses. Was with Riccardo for many, many years.
We should all send our regards to Ricardo. Wow, what a coach he's been.
Yeah, no kidding.
We've got a pretty good coach sitting on the side of the court tonight too, Robbie. I've noticed.
They're a good combo, Darren Cahill and Simone.
I was talking about Ryan Harrison. Because I'm still keen to. I'm wondering if the only thing left here for Ben Shelton, Ryan, is that maybe he can throw a few, use that chip to try to bring Sinner forward a little bit on his backhand wing, or just make him move forward a little bit at times to take him out of his comfort zone slightly. I'm not sure where to go here for him. Because he's having to hit a shot like that to win points from the back of the court.
30-15.
Well, Fitzy, I appreciate that nod of confidence, and you're exactly right. These points where it's just bashing of the ball, you just favor Sinner in almost anyone's matchup. So Ben's got to continue to look for his opportunities to take it to him, and use that little short chip would be a very effective shot.
He's having to play an extraordinary point, isn't he, from the back? But he's done it twice this game.
Oh, a little bit of filthy feel at the end of it as well.
40-15.
Filthy feel.
These people are loving it right now from Ben Shelton. He's got them on the edge of their seats. They are ready to erupt for this American man.
I can see the change of depth with that shot. Exquisite.
Game, Shelton.
It's a strong game from Ben.
Shelton leads 2-1.
We're 3 games in the third set. 2-1 it is.
Just scan the QR code for your chance to be next. You could win a priceless experience, courtesy of MasterCard and the Australian Open.
I think one of the differences as well for Sinner, for Shelton from the back of the court, is having to deal with Sinner's rally placement. This was set number 1. You can see 17% of Sinner's ground strokes in the yellow zone. But look what happens in set 2. Much better depth. And you can see those pulsating balls. Testimony to the improved depth from Sinner. And of course, pushing Shelton further and further back. And of course, in those baseline rallies, he's struggling against the world number 1. He's only winning about a third of them. Moments that Sinner is able to keep that sort of length, he just suffocates you into submission.
Time.
All record crowds over the fortnight so far. And some of the day records, they aren't by a couple of hundred or even 1,000. It's 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 more fans in some of these day and night sessions. What an AO 2025 it's been.
La 15.
I mean, that should be worth a bonus point given the quality of that.
You're pushing that agenda, aren't you, this week, Robbie?
That's amazing. That counts the same. It's just a basic unforced error.
Love 13.
Well, he's lighting it up again all of a sudden. Jannik okay there physically?
He looks like he's walking a bit slow. I noticed it a couple points ago when he was coming out, and he was looking like he was a little slow walking, and he just looked at the bench over to his team, and he muttered something. I couldn't quite tell what it was.
Yeah, he did wince there once or twice.
(15-13).
Of course, for Jannik Sinner now, you've got to keep a poker face. Can't give Shelton anything to feast his eyes on. If he sees that Sinner's struggling, that'll buoy him. That'll give him more energy, won't it? And he did that so well against Runa, did Sinner. Oh, he's got cramp. Just saw him struggle there for a second.
15-14.
Just saw the leg straight, and there you go.
Yeah, guys, I think Shelton saw it on the big screen as well, so he's now aware of what's going on over there, and if you need any reason to stick around down 2 sets, it's to see your opponent struggling physically.
Shelton with 2 valuable break points. Stunning. Top tier tennis right there.
30-14.
I wonder if it is cramp, and if it is, it seems strange that he would get it after 2 sets. Is it left over from two matches ago when he was feeling physically a bit down?
Yep.
Do you think it is cramp, Ryan?
Deuce.
Yeah, I'm saying 95% it's cramping. It looks like he's not trying to show it. It looks like he's going to try and see if he can manage his way through this 3rd set. He's still on serve, and as we saw last point, free points on serve and short points will give him the opportunity to recover a little bit.
It's Shelton who spent more time on court coming into this contest. Almost 2.5 hours more.
Advantage, Sinner.
I mean, when you see that now, guys, you just think about those 2 set points that Shelton had on serve at 6-5 when he was serving.
Was he rubbing his quad inside his pocket there? Not sure.
It just looks like there's a lot of concern on his face. I couldn't see if he was going inside his pocket or not, but it does look like he's very concerned.
Cain, Sinner.
They'll sail long.
2 games all. New balls, please.
Let's see if Sinner says anything to the chair umpire or not. It's it's always interesting to me, do you run the risk? It's the marks that you get from cupping. Take away any of the impurities in your system. Just wonder, is that what happens if you leave the cramping too long before you request the physio to come out? You run the risk of it getting too severe and the massage comes too late. I always wonder how you find that balancing act. Do you get the physio out sooner rather than later? Just like to get your thoughts on that, Ryan, knowing what you've been through in long matches.
Well, one of the things you want to do when you're cramping is you want to try and be strategic with how you exert your remaining energy for that time being.
15.
That makes it extremely important for Shelton to build a lead on these service games of his. If he's able to get up 30 love, 40 love, 40-15, you'll likely see Sinner not really running full for the remainder of the game.
15-30.
It's cheap. I think of it as like charging your phone. You've got one charge. Do you decide to do it when you've only got 5% left in the battery? Or do you try and do it when you've still got 11 or 12? That would equate to the physio coming out and looking after you.
He's not getting in the position quite as well. A little less balanced. To me, starting to spray a few from the back of the court for now.
Awkward pause.
30-14.
Well, I don't think Ben has played this game tightly enough. He's given him a couple of free points here. Not necessarily that last one, but he's opened the door, hasn't he?
In a big way, Fitzy.
Juice.
Yeah, that hurt, didn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, he just pulled at the hamstring instantly. He's definitely cramping in that left hamstring now, I'm absolutely sure.
You can see it there, yep. Grabs the hammy straight away, boys.
Well, in a way, let's hope it is cramped
Sinner.
and not a tweak in that hamstring. If it's that, it's a real problem.
Yep, good point.
Oh, the ups and downs of trying to win a Grand Slam singles title.
That was a pattern of play that worked so well against Lorenzo Sonego in the previous round. Went down the line was exquisite.
Tell you what, he's treading a fine line though, Ben, isn't he, with a shot like that to save his serve.
That's a major body blow right there from Shelton.
And guys, now he was pulling at his right
Shelton.
quad hip flexor. So he went from left hamstring grab to right quad hip flexor, and absolutely leaving everything out there in this game, trying to see if he can get the break and get up an early break, knowing the importance of trying to finish this out in 3 now.
Deuce. Halt. Advantage, Sinner.
Oh my goodness.
Game, Sinner.
How important could that game be
Sinner leads
in the
3
context
games
of
to
this
2.
match? Sinner digging awfully deep to take a 3-2 lead. Oh, it's a fine line between being brave
Yeah,
and being reckless.
yeah, well said.
And the physio has indeed come out now for Sinner. And this won't be regarded as a full change of ends, because it's considered actually just identifying the problem, even though we know what the problem was. So in effect, a player gets one identifying change of ends. That's what Paul Ness is doing now, and then he'll get 2 full further change of ends of a massage for cramps if needed. So ATP physio Paul Ness just been on to give Jannik Sinner a rub for cramps. And the first time you get it done, Fitzy, is considered, it's an assessment, even though he's come on and done it straight away. So it's not a full 2 change of ends. That's Uli just telling him to get a rub. So that was an assessment plus half a change of ends. He will get
Thank you. Ready
2
for play.
further
Thank you.
full change of ends if he needs.
But everything on the
15
edge
love.
right now. I mean, Ben Shelton's down 2 sets and a break, and he just doesn't quite know how close he is possibly to winning this match. And from...
It sounds crazy when you say that, eh?
Yeah.
But given what we're seeing...
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
And from Sinner's point of view, he really has to play some faultless tennis here to try to finish it off. He's got the break in the third, but this is not going to be simple. Particularly if Ben can rally as solidly as he possibly can. Keep the ball in play, extend the points a bit. Everyone on edge here.
Wow. Vaporized that forehander, Sinner.
40 love.
Boomski at 168 kilometers an hour. That one's not coming back.
And he may need to take more risks like that. I mean, he's good enough to hit them in, isn't he? But that's living on the edge a little bit.
Cain, Sinner.
A backhand that is burned through the air.
Games to 2.
Showing us that he can bring the heat off both ground strokes. Just the hold he needed.
Love 15.
Well, he's decided to up the ante, it looks like. Take a few more risks and back himself here.
Love 13.
If you're Shelton, you got to try and get the ball out of the middle of the court, because anything Sinner can get his racket on right now, he's absolutely cracking.
Let's first one.
It's a good bit of fortune, but still a lot of work to do.
La 40.
Well, he's just turned it on. This is a sign of a great champion. He's under duress here, and everything he's done in the last 10 minutes since he was cramping has turned to gold. And helped a little bit by Ben Shelton going the wrong way there on that volley.
7 points on the bounce now.
Oh,
Cain,
goodness.
Sinner.
What a gift.
Yeah, 2 games in a row.
Sinner leads
Sinner now
5
with a
games
chance
to 2.
to serve his way into a third major final.
Well, Fitzy, to your point earlier in the match, I just don't understand some of these decisions. For as good of a player as Ben Shelton is already, I go back to that 2-all deuce second serve, and he goes for a 3/4 almost second first serve there, and double faults just before getting broken. And to me, if I'm seeing a guy laboring on the other side of the net with those long points mounting, I'm trying to just play as many physical points as I can again and again. I don't understand why you would shorten up the points and go for massive second serves. It only helps your opponent to play those short points. Even if you land one, it's not going to do any long-term effects on a guy who's cramping. So I just don't love the strategy behind playing against a cramping opponent that way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That serve he hit, that you're mentioning the second serve originally to go down break point, was well over 200 k's an hour.
Only one other player has ever reached more than 3 major finals for an Italian, and that, of course, is the great Nicola Pietrangeli. Sinner bidding to reach a 3rd Grand Slam final. It's one decent service game away.
15 love.
It's both Jasmine Paolini and Francesca Schiavone, both been to 2 major finals.
Settle down, please, please. Out. 15 all.
Made it.
15-30. Ladies and gentlemen, please. You can support anyone you like, but please respect both the players. Thank you. $30 all.
2 hours and 35 minutes. This one has been ongoing. And it's been a match about moments. And Ben Shelton will be ruining those missed opportunities. The first 2 set points that he had on serve at 6-5 in the opening set. But since then, Sinner's been the one. And it's Matt at most.
14-30.
He's made the right decision, chosen the correct shots, and just managed his game better, Fitzy. And as a result of that, he's arrived at match point.
Game, center match, Sinner.
It'll be a 3rd major final for Jannik Sinner.
6-2.
On Sunday, he will attempt to defend his title against Sasha Zverev. He maximized the moments today against Ben Shelton and found a way to win like all great champions do. And he wins in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2, 6-2.